Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? It's Wednesday, the 9th of December, 2020. I'm glad you're all here from all over the place. Thanks for tuning in. It sounds like some of you are having pie for breakfast, and other of you have other ideas. Wine and crisps. I'm just going to guess that Christine is over the pond, but it's okay if you have wine and crisps for breakfast in the United States, I suppose, except we wouldn't call them crisps. So guessing on the UK. So anyway, good morning, everyone. I saw some lovely comments about the Christmas season, and you're here from all over the place, and it's fun to see you. So the next time I'm coming back, so I don't forget, is next week on the 16th. And then I will be taking a couple weeks of Christmas vacation. So I'll be back in January after next week, but I'll be here next week on the 16th. And today I am working on this thing. This little guy from the fires. So this week the Cameron Peak fire was 100% contained. Finally, it was started on August 13, and those of you who've been following me have heard probably more than you want to about the Cameron Peak fire, but I didn't see the final acreage. It was over 200,000 acres and 300 some square miles of burned land. So anyway, I'm working on a series of tapestries, and I pulled this one out again this week to give you something a little different. I'm still working on let's see, I bet you can't. Oh, anyway, behind me is the handbasket tapestry. I'm still working on that, but not today. So here is here's the little thing. I should have pulled up the other. Let's see if I can see what images I have here. Oh, this is the other regeneration one I did. The last one is on the back of this loom. And this one has a flower on the top. It was an experiment. This is a sunflower that's going to be over the top of this little scene that's similar to that. Let's see if I have any other ones. This was the fire tapestry, and this was, hold on. This one on the top was before the fire. I think I'm going to redo that one. Not happy with it, but if I decide to enter these in a show, I'll have to redo that one. So anyway, we are looking hopefully towards regeneration, I guess, of this burned landscape. I've been referring to the cartoon a fair amount because there's a little, another little flower petal that's coming in here, and I think I want to make it darker than these other ones. Always a bit of a question. It looks like when I last worked on this, which was only a day or two ago, I was looking at filling in this area so that I can make this petal outlined. So if I fill in this little triangle, then this can be a smooth outline. And it looks like I have a crepeau in here, I had to change the sheds for some reason. I cannot now remember why I did that, but I think, let's see, I'm looking at some blue grays for that background, and I want it to start lighter and go darker. So let's start, I think I decided, I should have written this down, man. I think I decided to try these two. The question being, these are the two greens they're going to be next to, and I want the values to be discernible. So there's the green, here's the gray. I think the values are really similar, so I'm probably not going to like that because I wanted the gray to be, I wanted the blue-gray to be lighter, which might be why I have these. Looks like I pulled out an even lighter option. Let's look at that. Glad you're all here. All of you from all over Northern California. Hi, Donna. Hi, Sarah. Hi, everybody who I saw go by and I didn't say hello. Yes, PJ, this is a Mirex loom and it is a big sister, so it's 16 inches. Okay, this is going to be better, I think. Yeah, I like that better. So the value difference will be a little bit greater. We'll see. I'm using 2 strands of Weaver's Bazaar at 12 ends per inch. I think fine. This is the fine Weaver's Bazaar. I think I could use 3 actually at this set. I honestly can't. Oh, I just did that for the. It wasn't to shift the shed. It was to do the eccentric outline. So we're going to do a smooth outline here. It annoys me that that's slightly turned. Yeah, so this is a Big Sister Mirex, and this outline is going in the same. Oh, that's going to be, you're all going to hear that. I've been using a, here you can see it here. Here you can see it here. A mirror, an acrylic mirror behind the pattern. Oh, and you can, when I pull that out, you can see that the other piece is still in the loom behind. But the mirror smacks against the loom, and you're going to hear that in your audio. Let's get this yellow out of the way. Okay, so I did a little outline here. Looking forward to where this curve is going to come in. Hi, Cindy. PJ's what comes up on your YouTube thing, but good to know your actual name is Cindy. Okay, let's add the let's add this. This is 12 ends per inch. Just warped straight on the Mirex. None of that double set stuff on this piece. It's all 12 ends per inch. And I'm sort of sitting to the side, which, yeah, don't laugh at me in the overall. I know none of you would. It's really hard to position a camera. This is true for when you're shooting online classes too. To position a camera so it looks natural in terms of my hands, but that I can actually see what I'm doing. Can be challenging. Okay, I had a little, I had put that tail in the wrong place. So I just fixed that. All right. Let's see. Ooh, I'm still not sure about that value. Let's weave a little bit before I decide. I still think it's too light. I mean, too dark. Gosh. So the gamble is, will the difference of the hue be enough to make up for the fact that the value is super close? And I'm going to guess the answer there is no. And so I have a couple other options. going to take this out because I don't like it. I will use it in a few minutes, I'm sure. I'm going to take this gray out. So looking for a lighter value, I don't have a lighter. I could either go just with the blue, but I think it's going to be still too dark, or I have these two lighter colors right here. And I know I have a lighter gray than this, but I'm not going to go look for it right now because it's not right at my feet. So I'm just going to experiment for just a half a second with using this. This is a yellow. This is a more, it's probably the lightest orange that Weaver's Bazaar makes is my guess. And, oh, it's called Buttermilk. I think it has orange dye in it. So the question is, do I want to go with the yellower color or the oranger color? And I don't think there's a wrong answer, but I'm going to go with the oranger color because there's more of those tones in this piece. I'm going to put my split weft outline in again. See if I like it this time. Yeah, thanks, Nan. Good checking on the float. I think I found it, but if I didn't find it, let me know. God, nothing worse than not seeing it. In a piece like this, I would not have left a float. I would have fixed it. Actually, I probably never leave floats, but thank you, Nan. It's an advantage of having people watch close up that they can see the mistakes before I can. I love it. We could do some sort of interactive game show that way, right? And have people weaving and spotting. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so again, just checking where's my cartoon going. Where do I want this? Just thinking ahead to how I'm going to outline this shape that's coming up. Gosh, well, I don't know about this, but my idea is that I would just do a little bit of this color and then transition it to the gray just so there's a differentiation there. Okay, so let's try it. This is what I'm going to try. It's experimental day on Change the Shed. I'm going to cut one of these. Can you see this? Let's see. There's two strands. I'm going to cut one of them so I can use that later. And I'm going to go to my lightest gray and just cut a piece. And so this, I'm just tucking the tail to the back and I'm going to add the gray in. So basically I'm just changing one of the colors in the bundle. Oh, I don't know, y'all. I'm gonna have to go find the other gray, I think. The values are just too far off. It's gonna look really stripy. Mary, this is Weaver's Bazaar 18.2. It's the fine. Michelle asks why I want gray there. So the picture, the image, this part that I'm filling in is a background color. This is a mountain that's in the distance. And I want a blue gray. So that's why all of these options I was showing were a mix of gray and blue, starting with this one, but this isn't light enough for the values I want. So the idea being there's a lighter line just so that these two hills are defined from each other. So like you're standing on a mountain and you see the flowers in front of you, and these are the flowers, and they're, you know, running away from you. They're getting a little lighter, which is why the green got lighter. And I'll probably go a little bit lighter with the green on the top. But then there's a mountain far in the distance, and it is a blue-gray. And so I'm not going to define any shapes in that mountain. It's just going to be a gradation. But that's the color of the rock, is why I'm using gray. But I want this hill to be defined. I actually don't like any of the choices I made there. I don't like this buttermilk color. I think it's too light. And I don't like the gray mixed with it. It was a limitation that I have in the moment because I don't have the yarn I need right here. So I probably will take all of that out because I don't like it. And find a lighter, the light gray that's lighter than this. Weaver's Bazaar has a color that's lighter than this, and there's maybe even a blue that's lighter than this. And I will try that. In the meantime, let's look at this. I need to fill in this green a little bit. Can you guys see that? I think you can see it. Up to the point of where that little flower comes in. And then we can put that piece in. Okay, this is the other thing about not weaving on something for a few days or weeks or months, is that I forget what my intention was, but it looks like I was shifting the greens from, from this darker color to a mix. And I suspect right now I can almost just go straight to the mix. I want this lighter green to sort of travel up this hill. Twist this a little so I don't get the line effect, the super stripe that you saw over here in the gray, where the wefts are just stacking on top of each other and they aren't mixing. I did another Change the Shed where I worked, I think, on the other piece on this silk that's down here in the green, how I did the demi-dwee back and forth with the silk. So if you want to see how I did that, you can find it in an earlier Change the Shed, which I may or may not have indicated on my website which episode that is. Sorry about that. The later ones, that occurred to me that I should say what I was working on if people were looking for something, but the earlier ones I haven't done that. Okay, now this is probably fine. This yellow is driving me nuts. Yes, Kate, I do have to find the lighter gray or a different lighter color. It's interesting. I mean, it's a color theory thing. I can mix. There might be other colors that would work there besides gray. It just has to be the right value. And don't have that right here. I can actually see the tub where it is, but you don't want to wait for 5 minutes while I rummage around for it. So I'll show you what I'll show you next week. Okay, I think we're good. There. So now the trick is that I wanted to outline this whole thing, but because it goes behind that yellow, this is a separate shape. If I move my thumb, you'd be able to see that better. This is a separate shape because this yellow piece goes over in front. So I can do just this little bit at least for until I get right up here, and then then it's overcutting this, and I'll have to have woven that first. Oh, Suzanne, I'm glad you finally got my book. Where are you? Actually, a lot of people in Europe got their books before people in the United States. It's a little disturbing, but most of those issues were with Amazon. Okay, so I'm going to do this one behind a little bit darker. This is a mix of these two little chunky flower petals. If you've ever been to Colorado, you know up high there's these yellow, they're cone flowers. So they have a big sort of dark cone, and then they have these crazy petals that are kind of long and wonky. Like they're never even, they're never even like a perfect daisy. They're always this weird shape, and I love them very much. So that's the idea here. So I think I'm going to actually try for that one petal that's behind, for these two petals behind, I'm going to try this color. Could be another one of, it could be another bust, but. Okay. Don't actually need very much, so. I'm going to put it in and meet and separate. Oh, I think I might like this okay. Do you think I need one more warp though? Good. I hope that you're right, Jamie, and Amazon is caught up. There were just some issues with their distribution centers. They didn't pick the books up for their larger distribution centers. They didn't pick them up from the warehouse in time to get them out to people by the publication date. Even though the publication date was a week later, they still didn't manage it. So I think that anybody who's in shipping is definitely slammed with the coronavirus, and would have expected Amazon actually to have managed getting those books to the people in the US on time, but they didn't. Okay, I think that's going to look okay when this shape color is also behind here. The other reason to change the color, besides the fact that it's just a tiny bit farther back and maybe the shadows are falling differently, is that I want it differentiated from this one, and I wanted the one in front to be brighter. So that's what I'm thinking. We'll see if it works. Oh, thanks, Mary. I'm not going to say it right. Retibita pinnata might be the cone flower. There's lots of different cone flowers we have here up in the mountains, but this is the one that I like the most because it's funky. It has an attitude. If this were 8 ends per inch and I were doing this, I wouldn't be shifting the shed for each one. I'd just pick this little area. It takes less time. I'm gonna go up to the top of this to smooth this out a little bit. Okay, and I want one. This is one of the reasons I have this mirror, is because I can find, I like to weave from the back, and so when I'm weaving from the front, I get frustrated because I don't have my butterflies on the front where I can see them, and then I want another color, and it's way in the back somewhere. I do not see a color that I want, so I'm going to use a new one. I just wanted a little bit of this silk to be up here. I don't want it to be super bright. So we'll go with this color. Let's see. This is this silk is space dye, variegated. It's dyed. I don't know exactly how she does it. Claudia Chase from Mirex does this silk, and it's so it's got lots of different colors on it, which is perfect for this kind of thing because I want the, you know, if I want the color to change slightly, I can move the yarn. So there's a little pink, and so then I'm still in the same shed, and I'm going to go behind, making a float with this behind. Just wanted a couple dots in there. I will probably put one more up there. Right there. Oh, no. Sorry, that wasn't where I wanted it. Actually, I want it in the next pick because I want it on this warp. So I want it right here. I don't want it stacked on top of that other one. It's whatever. It's the little things my brain does when I'm working on something. Oh, Paula, I didn't know Target was carrying my book. That's pretty amazing. Thanks. Okay, so Carol asked, how do I know if I want to weave from the front or the back? And McKenna asked about the silk. So this silk, I'm using a different kind of silk in some of the other ones you've seen me do on Change the Shed. I've used, on the handbasket tapestry, the silk I'm using is in tubes, and it is from Weaver's Bazaar. They have really nice 62 silk, and that's what I'm using there. It's much finer than this. This is quite fat. This is little bundles of silk. She sells them just like this. This is from Mirex, and I'm not sure where she sources the silk from, but she dyes it herself. Claudia, the owner of Mirex, dyes it herself, and you can sometimes get little packets of it. It goes pretty fast, but if you watch their website. And so I've collected over the years, I've collected a lot of colors of the silk, and most of it is, I think all of it is dyed in variegations, but sometimes it's fun to use for tapestry. So So the front from the back, Carol, it depends a lot on the subject matter for me. My big pieces I all weave from the back. It's faster. It's easier to have my butterflies right in front of me. I don't have to do this thing all the time where I'm fishing them from behind. And I'm also weaving on a low warp loom. So I'm weaving on a low warp loom. So the butterflies would all be hanging down underneath, which also gets in the way of the cartoon. And I don't like it. I didn't learn that way. So I weave all the big pieces on, by big, I mean, they're big enough they don't fit on a Murex. At least not the size Murexes I use. But it also has to do with image. So my big pieces are almost never realistic in subject matter. This is it is a realistic depiction. And so it's easier to see where things are going. Also very small in this 12 ends per inch kind of neighborhood. It's easier to weave from the front. It also depends on the techniques you're using. I like to use some techniques that don't work well from the front. But most people who weave from the front just don't use those techniques. I'm taking this out. I will show you next week what I decided, how it worked out. I don't like it at all. It's too light. So we'll go back to this green and I will look for something else. I might decide on something completely different. The gray might be the wrong thing. I might even decide on a super light green there or something. If I have it, I don't know. Depends on what colors I have. Yeah, Helen, we were just talking, or you were just talking on Facebook about the tails on the back. Helen had a beautiful piece of hers that she, in the Facebook group for my online classes, that she just finished, and it has lots of tails on the back. Although, honestly, Helen, it didn't look that crazy to me, but yeah, whether you fix the tails on the back and make them clean or not is up to you. I think at this kind of set, it's harder. You're risking deforming the tapestry by stitching in a bunch of tails. So that practice comes from weaving on this loom, that loom behind me, the big Harrisville rug loom. I'm weaving at 8 or 10 ends per inch with much fatter yarn, and I have much larger color areas, and it's easy to make the back completely clean, which I like because it hangs nicely, and sometimes you can hang it in the middle of the room and walk around the other side or something like that. But every situation is different, so please don't think that because I finish my backs clean, that is the best choice for you. I'm not speaking just to Helen anymore. I'm speaking to all of you. Right, and how you deal with the tails, there's 1,000 ways to do it. So you just have to figure out what's best for you. Wow, that was just a tiny little soapbox or something. So, yeah, Michelle also short floats are in terms of saving yarn. So that's why I was looking on the back for the another piece of silk that I could just float up instead of having yet another tail on the back. So I'm so happy that you all are here. I'm sorry that my little demo today didn't have quite the right colors. I feel like I didn't actually get very far, but I will bring it back next week and show you what I decided, and we'll go from there. So next Wednesday, the 16th, and I can't think of anything else really going on because it's COVID and we are gonna just have holidays at home, right? Pie for breakfast. Anyone? Pie for breakfast. Yeah, so stay safe and please just stay home. This COVID thing, I started Change the Shed in March because of COVID, and here we are still many, for most of us, many months still from having it behind us. So I can guarantee that I'm way down the list of people for getting a vaccine. So I will be home for a long time. And, we'll see how that all works. Glad that you're all here. I'm gonna go find that other yarn, and I'll post some pictures on social media when I figure out what it is, so you don't have to wait till next week. I know you're all waiting to see what I do. Enjoy everything, you guys, and I will be back on the 16th. Bye-bye.